Let's chat commodities now, and you have seen decline coming in for the precious metal prices because of the strength in US dollar there, but the industrial commodities like the energy and base metal have seen some strength coming in. That's because of the expectation that the US consumer confidence numbers today in the evening, also the housing sales numbers can be on the positive side. That's giving strength to the base metals and the crude oil prices, but the precious metal space, the gold and silver prices have of course seen a bit of a decline coming in. Let's get then Ganansekar. He's Director Commtrendz Research Fund Management. He joins us on a phone line from Mumbai. So Ganansekar, I welcome to the show. How would you look at the precious metal space? Because 1400 continues to be a resistance, 1360 or 70 has been holding on the lower side as well. How would you want to trade this range in the day-to-day?
Yeah, I think if given the range in which one should be looking at precious metals in the near term, essentially precious metals, I think, is being still pressured by good economic data from the US. So as long as that continues, I think the upside is going to be a little tight. But having said that, with all the central bank buying, it's unlikely that it can fall the way it fell in April. So my sense is that it could operate in this range which you're mentioning, between 1350 to 1400. So one should keep watching for this range.
How would that calculate into the Indian markets then? Because rupee has been equally choppy here.
I wouldn't say choppy. I think it's one way. It's been on a depreciation spree. So that would only help the domestic prices, and the fall will be more or less cushioned, if at all there is any. So my feeling is that the range could be anywhere between 25,900 to around 26,800. That's going to be the range one should watch for.
Well, you mentioned about the rupee and one-way decline coming in for that one at least. In the intraday market there, more than 0.5% of a decline on rupee at this point in time, Mr. Ganansekar. And we have seen 56 kind of hold as a resistance in the previous week itself. What level are you working in for the rupee now?
See, as of now, I think 56.10, 5 to 10 could continue to be a near-term resistance. And it's unlikely that it can cross that. There's some oil demand supporting it at this point in time. Once it's out of the way, first week of June is expected to see some good inflows. So unlikely that it can cross, but overall it looks like it's headed towards 57 in the near term. So any dips would still be a buy there, but around 56.5 to 56.10 I would prefer to sell.
How would you want to trade the silver prices though? Because we've seen very sharp declines coming on for that one. But this metal also has held supports at around 41,000 on the lower side. For the very near term, what kind of levels would you watch out for? And in the medium term as well, do you see 40 breaching in any case?
I doubt that, Manisha, because like I said, precious metals is more or less finding support at lower levels. You have central bank buying coming in, and then you also have physical demand which is quite strong below 1350 levels. So that, if you look at silver, the similar situation there. 22 and 2150 is going to be very strong. Unlikely that it can break that. Even technical structures are such that it's indicating there could be a consolidation before a move up. And with some support from the base metal complex, I think it can head towards $24, which will be around 46,000 thereabouts in the domestic market. So I think any dips here could be bought as far as silver is concerned, and there could be a decently big trading move going forward.
How would you look at the base metal prices? Because all the Chinese statements that have been coming in, whether it's about suspending commodity transaction funding or whether it's a tolerance about the slow economic growth, doesn't really seem to be auguring well for this sector. Today, of course, is a day when you have seen strength in the markets there, 1% up on LME, nearly that much of gains coming in for MCX as well. But do you think this is sustainable?
I doubt it's sustainable simply because the stock situation is pretty uncomfortable as far as base metals are concerned. And with weaker demand and God forbid the numbers in the US come weaker today, then there could be further selling which will continue. But whatever retracement we're seeing now in copper prices could be short-lived. Even technical structures are such that it doesn't give any kind of bullish indication going forward. So even base metals, I think, clearly is a sell on rallies.
And how about the energy space? Because we've seen a bit of a strength come back on that one as well, especially ahead of the OPEC meeting perhaps and the data in the US. How would you want to take a look at that space?
See, the positive economic data is really not doing much for crude, because if that's the case, it would have already crossed $98 and headed towards 100. But more than that, the OPEC meet is going to be very closely watched, and statements coming out from there. Markets are mostly looking forward to some kind of a talk on a production cut based on the U.S. shale. So my feeling is that it could be range bound with a slightly bullish bias, and anywhere between 5250, 5260 could be a strong support for crude.
Fair point, Mr. Ganansekar. We'll let you go at that. So that's a view really coming in from Commtrendz. They are buying into gold and silver, but selling into copper in the intraday market there. As far as energy space go, well, range bound to slightly positive is their cue coming in for that sector as well. Let's get in Dharmesh Bhatia from Kotak, and he joins us on the show with his strategies. Dharmesh, hi, welcome. Let's start with gold first. And while we have seen the Indian markets continue to see resistance at around 26,500 on the higher side, at these current levels, how would you want to play it?
Continuously for past 2 weeks, prices showing some firmness and holding above the major support of $1,350 and $1,300 on downside, but unable to breach the major psychological level of $1,400. I'm expecting the market to breach this level, and with rupee getting weaker, you can expect the domestic market to show further firmness. I would recommend to go long around 26,350, maintaining a stop loss of 26,200 and below, and you can hold long for the target of around 26,500 to 26,700 on higher side. So buy on dips on June MCX gold is advisable.
Dharmesh, also, how are you looking at the energy sector? Because in the recent days, we have seen the natural gas prices continue to trade on the higher side. 200, 220 kind of levels have been holding. And every time we have seen the crude prices decline, natural gas actually has taken strength from that.
Continuously prices showing firmness, and with rupee getting weaker, you can see the price showing in domestic market further firmness and heading north. Internationally also, prices holding above the major support of $4. I'm expecting the market to go further firmness with reverse. It's inversely proportionate to gold. I will recommend to go long around 234, maintaining a stop loss of 225 and 226, and you can hold long for the target of around 244 to 255 on higher side. So buy on dips on June MCX natural gas is advisable.